Hello, it's Friday and welcome to Granada Reports.
On the programme this evening.
A region ready to celebrate again. The excitement's cranking up as England expects in the Euros final.
It's just really cool how we got to the final. Like, we've got this far, we might as well get all the way.
They conned their victims out of tens of thousands of pounds, the rogue roofers who spread misery and fear across the northwest. A life spent watching movies, but even at 102 years young, Marjorie's not ready for her last picture show.
And in the weather, no time to snooze. There's a big weekend coming up, and will the forecast deliver? All the details to follow shortly.
So first, it's going to be one of those times when our region joins the rest of the country for a truly national occasion.
Yeah, you don't need me to tell you that England take on Spain in the final of the Euros on Sunday evening, and it's fair to say the Northwest is getting pretty excited.
And we've got lots of reasons to celebrate. Not only is our region ready to get behind Gareth Southgate's side in fan parks, pubs, clubs, back gardens and living rooms, but almost half of the team are from Northwest clubs.
Yeah, looking ahead to a nerve-wracking night of football, our sports correspondent, Chris Hall.
Lives and to make everyone proud, so yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
At Gatley Primary School, where Cole was once king of the kickabout, they say their former pupil can teach Spain a lesson.
Cole Palmer, he's just such a good footballer, and he came to our school. He went to our school and no ordinary kid did the same thing as us, but then he achieved that aspiration because he worked for it and he tried for it.
He's got England all the way through with the assists and goals.
In my sporting dreams even more.
He's a really good footballer and he has really good sportsmanship and is a really good team player even if he's not on the starting line. A fresh pair of legs, and Cole Palmer is, the one to choose.
The same slice of southern Greater Manchester also produced Kobbie Mainoo and Phil Foden, and here at Reddish Vulcans, a 7-year-old Foden stole the show every week.
He had this inner belief, he had this desire to achieve. He just wanted to be a footballer, nothing else mattered.
Was there anything about a 7-year-old Phil Foden that you thought was really special?
It was his little turns, change of direction, the way he could slalom past players almost. It was just amazing for him to do it at that age.
Within a decade, Foden was a World Cup winner in England's under-17s and destined for greatness with Manchester City.
I'm just going to get back and see what happens, just keep going and working hard each day, and hopefully I'll get my opportunity this year. I'll just have to wait and see, really.
He's like a little diamond that that at any moment he could explode again. Football is like a little kid in the park playing the way he plays.
Stockport, often nicknamed the New Berlin, to the real German capital, where the tournament favourites are a real. While England employ the high press, so do their supporters. In Middleton, Northwest heroes are stamped on shirts and shipped worldwide to fuel final fever.
Well, we've had a fantastic increase in sales and demand for the England products after the semi-final win. We saw a huge increase, not just over the day, but also after the final whistle. And we're looking forward to Sunday to seeing if it can match the England Women's European Cup football success, which was over 600% increase in sales.
When we won the Euros, I think that was probably the best day of my life, still to date. And yeah, I mean, it's so nice to see the men doing that at the moment. And the Champions League finals, many different finals. So I don't think we need to give them any advice, but obviously we're all rooting for them and we wish them the best of luck going into the weekend.
And fan parks frantically fabricated. In Blackpool, they've jockeyed at the hockey. The World Match Play darts brought forward for the footy, while across the northwest, gigs are rejigged.
We're definitely going to move the time to Sunday afternoon because there's no chance I'm going to be doing it at 8 o'clock because I'm going to be busy watching these boys.
And so will most of us, a whole nation united either in heartbreak like 3 years ago or maybe, just maybe. Chris Hall, ITV News.
Just maybe. No, it's going to get very tense from now until 8 o'clock on Sunday night. And of course, you can watch England v Spain live on ITV1 with coverage starting from 6:30.
And talking of watching the match on the telly, a big shout out tonight to St Mary's C of E Primary School in Sale and their head teacher, Mr Hitchcock. He sent a letter to parents telling them their children can come in later on Monday morning if they've been watching the game.
He says, due to the exceptional circumstances of an England final late on Sunday night, I am giving all children who wish to watch the football permission to stay up late to cheer England on and bring it home. Come on, England, he says.
Brilliant. Well done, Mr Hitchcock. Also well done to Andy Golpis, who's the co-founder of Made by Shape, a design and brand agency in Manchester. He's offering all staff the day off work on Monday, to allow them to enjoy the game, as long as they don't miss their deadlines and they inform all of their clients, of course.
Of course. Well, I am still waiting for our email from the boss.
Yeah,
haven't got it yet.
Still waiting for that memo, Lucy.
Well, on to the rest of the day's news. And the team of rogue roofers who con their victims out of more than £176,000.
Between them, Stephen Lee Sr., his son, Stephen Lee Jr. and Eli Young targeted a total of 8 homeowners across the northwest. They used aggression, intimidation and inflated prices to carry out unnecessary work on roofs that were left in an exposed and dangerous state.
One victim has told us how the experience has left him feeling depressed. Our reporter Emma Sweeney has the story.
This is where it all started, with this garage here. The original roofing was asbestos.
When 79-year-old Ron Linton decided it was time to replace his garage roof, he put a request on a trading website. Just a few hours later, it appeared he was in luck. Workmen from a Preston-based company known as Dry Sky Property Maintenance had arrived to inspect the job.
I got the phone call from the Stephen Lee Jr., came round, looked at the situation, said, oh yes, that's no problem. We looked at the state of the garage roof, which had asbestos panels on which were broken, and the skylights were broken in it. And said, oh yes, we can do that. New steel panels, new lighting in them, and some cosmetic strips around the side, and quoted a price of about $2,700, which was a lot of money to me, but the job needed to be doing, and he was the only person who actually responded, it turned out.
And then a day or two later, they came back, didn't they? And they said that actually they could do work on the house roof as well.
There's a few loose tiles there. Well, I was aware of those. I said, I think we could do with some repair work on that. Well, I was aware there was one small leak in the roof near one of the skylights. So I invited him to come up and have a look round, and then quoted what ended up as a total bill for the 2 properties of something like £11,500.
Not only was the work wildly overpriced, but the pensioner was pressured and intimidated by Lee Jr. into paying £9,000 of the costs up front. 2 weeks later, Lee Jr.'s father, who was also known as Stephen, demanded that Ron pay the rest of the balance. But despite this, Dry Sky Property Maintenance failed to carry out many of the repairs.
There they were, using threatening behaviour. They got my roof in pieces. It had to be finished, otherwise the ceilings would be coming through. As it turned out, what the work he actually did was only a fraction of what needed to be done, and then they abandoned it anyway.
Ron's garage and house roofs were left in an exposed and dangerous state. It would take another company to put things right for a fraction of the price.
We came and had a look, and our price ended up at £3,500 to do all the work that was required. When we got up there, it wasn't in the best state, was it really?
No. There was holes in the roof where they just, instead of ripping the slate out with a slate rip, they just smashed holes in the roof to get the slates out. Basically left him with a roof that, if the rain come,
it was leaking in, wasn't it?
Get a lot of water in it.
The cowboys responsible for Ron's ordeal were eventually caught after a multi-agency investigation. It led to Stephen Lee Sr. pleading guilty of running a fraudulent business, though he died before he could be sentenced. Stephen Lee Jr. has pleaded guilty to 8 offences of fraud by false representation, which also includes work carried out under different company names, along with a business associate known as Eli Young. Young has pleaded guilty to false representation for his involvement in the roofing business. Between them, they targeted a total of 8 victims who parted with life savings of more than £176,000. Young and Lee Jr. will be sentenced in October. How has this whole experience left you feeling?
Well, the experience with them, very depressed and a little bit nervous. Well, I'm not a millionaire, I'm a pensioner. So that is quite a significant sum for me to lose.
And Emma joins us in the studio now. So Emma, a complex case this, with victims from right across the northwest.
Yeah, that's right, Andy. As I mentioned in my report, this was a multi-agency investigation. It involved trading standards from Halton Council, Stockport Council and Lancashire Police. These men operated far and wide, so it took a lot of work to get all these cases together and to put them before the court. Now, it's not the first time that Stephen Lee Jr. has done this kind of thing. He went to prison before alongside his father, Stephen Lee Sr., after they had targeted pensioners across Greater Manchester. This time, Lee Jr. has also pleaded guilty to work that he did alongside his associate Eli Young. They operated under a company known as Dedicated Roofing Solutions and Elite Roofing Solutions. Now, today at a court hearing, the 2 men were told that they would be sentenced in October.
And Emma, what is the advice to people who do need repairs doing to their homes?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because we all turn to the internet for recommendations if we don't know a roofer of our own. So we all do that. But I suppose that the first thing is to make sure that you get more than one quote, try and get a few quotes, then you can compare and you can contrast. Other things to do are to talk to friends, family, neighbours. If they've had a good experience, the likelihood is that you will then have a good experience. And I suppose the other thing is, look out for reviews. If you see a review with just 1 or 2 people, then that's probably not going to be as good as somebody that's got thousands of reviews. So yeah, just kind of do a little bit of homework.
Really good advice. Thank you so much, Emma. Thank you.
Well, next tonight, a court has been told the convictions of 7 black teenagers in the Moston area of Manchester was influenced by racist stereotyping and cultural ignorance.
3 judges are being asked to grant them leave to appeal their convictions after the teenagers were jailed for conspiracy to commit serious harm following the murder of one of their friends.
Barristers are saying the original prosecution was wrong to claim the teenagers were part of a violent gang who was seeking revenge.
Our correspondent Elaine Wilcox is at the Royal Courts of Justice. Elaine, what has happened today?
Well, there are 7 defendants in this case. This is Adid Adedeji, who was described in court as an exceptional young man who'd already written a book. In fact, his barrister said he'd agreed to meet him in Manchester to discuss his career in law. He is now in prison serving 8 years for conspiracy to commit grievous bodily harm. And that is after the murder of his childhood friend, 16-year-old John Soyeyo, in Moston in 2020. Seen here on the mic at their church. Now, the prosecution claimed the teenager and 9 others were part of a violent gang seeking revenge for his death. His conviction is centred on text messages in a group chat in which he shared a postcode which is believed to be the person who was responsible for his death. No one was harmed as a result of that postcode, although 2 of the 10 convicted were involved in violence using machetes and a crossbow. But lawyers for 7 of those seeking appeals today argued a 9-second video shown in court showing drill music and Adid Adedeji wearing a blue bandana was not proof of being part of a gang, as was suggested in the original trial, along with a picture of him with cash to his ear, which the trial judge had suggested was further evidence of gangs and drug dealing. Now, the teenagers' families and supporters were in court when a music executive said that was breathtaking cultural ignorance. He said the money pose was not part of gangs, it was part of the hip-hop scene. It was something shared by sports people and celebrities. Now, today, barristers argued something went very badly wrong in this original trial, suggesting it was institutional racism and dangerous stereotyping because all the defendants were black, they liked drill music and they lived near the violent gang, the Moston M40. Now, for them, it is a waiting game for the defendants and their families as they have to wait to see the judge's written submission to see whether there are any grounds to appeal their convictions.
OK, Elaine in London for now. Thank you.
A man described as a dangerous sexual predator has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 22 years. Nicholas Moxham's arrest was captured on police body camera. Moxham, who's from Stockport, was found guilty of 32 offences, including rape, controlling prostitution for gain, slavery and sexual assault.
Metrolink tram services on part of the Oldham and Rochdale line will remain suspended until further notice because of unstable land. The tram tracks and other equipment have been affected by land movement and specialist teams have been brought in to help fix it. Trams are currently unable to operate beyond Oldham Mumps.
Now, it's the 25th Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards this year, and we're looking for your help to find a fantastic fundraiser to represent ITV Granada Reports at the awards ceremony. They'll even be in with a shout of winning the overall Pride of Britain Regional Fundraiser Award.
Yeah, of course, it's one of the biggest events in the showbiz calendar. But it's the amazing public, not the celebrities, who are the stars of the show. And now we need your help to find this year's ITV Granada Reports winner.
So if you'd like to nominate someone to be our regional fundraiser of the year, you can head to our website. That's itv.com/Pride of Britain. You can only nominate individuals and they must be aged 18 years or over. If you are under the age of 18, please get permission from a parent or guardian before you nominate. The closing date for nominations is Sunday, the 11th of August, and full terms and conditions and our privacy notice can be found on our website. Well, next to a piece of rugby league history, and tonight sees Wigan take on St Helens in the traditional derby match. But before that game, the Brick Community Stadium in Wigan will, for the first time ever, stage the women's derby between the two clubs as part of a televised double-header.
I'm really excited. You know, it's another fantastic stadium to box off another first for us. So, yeah, we're really, really excited, and there's a lot riding on it as well, with us both sort of topping the table at the minute.
I've played here in the World Cup for England, which was absolutely incredible, and I was in my own little bubble. I was saying to Jodie before, I was looking round, little tear in my eye, but to play for my club in the club stadium is going to be absolutely unreal.
I don't miss playing that much, but you know, when you do come to Wigan and Saints games, you do get that feeling of, you know, it'd be great to be out there again playing, but the way the body is at the moment, I'm much better in the coaching box.
These games always deliver in terms of intensity, in terms of skill, and the pride of both clubs. So, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic occasion.
Now, I am saying it now, I love this next story. You'd think when you reach the grand old age of 102, you would want to take life easy.
Oh, yeah, you would. But Marjorie Ainsworth from Didsbury in South Manchester keeps herself busy being the president of a local film society.
Yeah, now get this, she joined the club back in 1939. That was the year that The Wizard of Oz was a hit in cinemas, and over the decades she's seen thousands of films.
So Paul Crone went to meet her and test her on some of his knowledge. Definitely a case of camera, lights, action.
102-year-old Marjorie Ainsworth may have left it a little late for Hollywood stardom, but as president of the Manchester and Salford Film Society, she commands top billing. Well, she has been a society member since 1939 and has always loved going to the movies.
There were 6 cinemas within walking distance of my house, and they changed the programme twice a week, so I could go every night, and it was cheap. I could get in for 6pence.
Manchester and Salford Film Society was established in 1930 and is the longest running film society in Britain, giving movie buffs a chance to see cinematic productions from across the globe.
It was just amazing to me that there were filmmakers all over the world, not just from Hollywood or Elstree, and it just enlarged your mind. It broadened your mind immediately.
Not for Marjorie slick multi-million-dollar action movies, but she is a big fan of being a member of the Manchester and Salford Film Society and the enjoyment that brings.
It's so special because It's the oldest continuously running society in the country, possibly in the world. And the quality of the films they show.
Which films are these lines from? You're going to need a bigger boat.
Jaws.
Jaws. Second one, May the Force be with you.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Luke, Luke. And the third one is, Frankly, My Dear, I Don't Give a...
Damn.
From?
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. 3 out of 3. And she's no plans to quit her post as president just yet.
I'll still be the president until I kick the bucket.
Here's looking at you, Marjorie. You're a star in our eyes. Paul Crone, ITV News, Didsbury.
Oh, she knows her stuff, doesn't she?
She looks so good, doesn't she, as well?
Yeah, she does. Can't believe she's 102. Favourite film, Andy?
Oh, favourite? Well, I'll tell you what, if I give you the quote first, see if you can guess it.
I'm really rubbish
Well,
at this.
we're going, we don't need roads. Oh, Back to the Future now,
oh, yeah.
honestly.
Okay. Sound of Music's my favourite.
Brilliant.
Let's get the weather now. Here's Emma.
Have you burnt tea again?
I'm scraping the cooled oil into the bin, not the sink.
Can we eat outside? It's nice.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada Weather.
Hello there, very good evening to you. The weekend is here. It's not looking too promising, I'm afraid, but that's just the weather, so still some hope in our hearts. Cloudy and cool on Saturday with a few showers around. However, turning drier and warmer on Sunday as temperatures will start to recover a little bit, so it's not going to be too bad if you're planning any outdoor get-togethers. But we're still on the wrong side of the jet stream at the moment, the northerly side, and so we are expecting it to stay pretty cool. But as I say, things start to warm up and become a little bit more humid as we head into the start of next week. Got a bit of a battle there with high and low pressure. It's all just very messy over the next 24 hours or so. Rewinding then to the next few hours, a lot of cloud around, just some late brightness in the Isle of Man this evening, but then overnight a lot of cloud, a few showers. Like I say, it's all a bit scrappy, and temperatures generally holding up through towns and cities just into double figures, but into the high single figures out in the countryside. One or two of those showers where they are brighter means they could be a little bit heavier. Sun's up tomorrow at just before 5 in the morning and sets at 9:35 in the evening. It's a bit of a gloomy start to Saturday, again with some showers around, one or two proving a bit heavy, but not too bad into the afternoon. You can see we're in a little bit of a sweet spot there. We do see some brighter spells of sunshine, so not a bad afternoon. 18 is 64 Fahrenheit, so still a little bit suppressed in terms of those temperatures, but with only light winds as the high pressure tries to exert its influence. But still, the breeze coming from the north, cool wind direction there, so just not fantastic. And then overnight, there's not a lot to say except for there isn't much of a story really. It's just very messy. But on Sunday there'll be some good spells of sunshine and brightness around, temperatures starting to recover. Turns more humid on Monday, maybe with some heavy thundery downpours with some hail too. Here's your pollen.
It's a little bit burnt.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
So on to the pollen report then now. Grass and nettle are the main contributors at the moment, and over the next few days counts moderate to high, especially high on Sunday in the drier weather. That's it for now. Bye-bye.
Emma, thanks very much indeed. That's it from us for now. We've been told we have to come in on Monday, so we'll be back on Monday at 6 for what we hope will be a programme of celebrations and maybe a few sore heads as well.
Yeah,
and we are all rooting for England, aren't we, Mel?
Well, sort of, except I do have Spain in the office sweepstakes, so it's a win-win for me, whoever wins.
Go off people very quickly. Enjoy your weekend.
Go on, England. See ya. Bye-bye.